Glad you could be here. Thank you. So you said before the interview, you said in 2 minutes I will know. I watched very closely when you met him. On the red carpet after both your planes landed. What did you get in 2 minutes?
Well, I always had a great relationship with President Putin, and we would have done great things together in terms of, their land is incredible there. The rare earth, the oil, gas, everything. It's incredible. It's the largest piece of land in the world as a nation, by far. I think they have 11 time zones, if you can believe it. That's big. But we would have done a lot of great things. But we had the Russia hoax, which stopped us from doing that. We would have done so great. But we had the greatest one of the great hoaxes. I mean, there were others like the election itself, as you covered better than anyone. But it was a rigged election and a horrible thing that took place in 2020. But we would have had a great relationship. But we did amazingly well considering. He would look and see what happened. He would think we're crazy here with the made-up Russia hoax. So, we had something very important and we have very good meeting today. But we'll see. I mean, it's, you have to get a deal. We agreed on a lot of points. I want to see people stop dying in Ukraine. And that's what's happening. Well, losing 5, 6, 7,000, the Russians, mostly Russians and their Ukrainian soldiers. Now there's some missile manufacturers and other things in some cities. I don't know if you know what's going on there, but there are a lot of people dying. And if we can end that war, it would be very good. And I was very happy to hear him say, if I was president, that war would have never happened.
Mr. President, that was my next question. He said at the joint press conference, and you have said this many, many times. And he confirmed for the world today that if you were president, this wouldn't have happened. Did any of the specifics come up as to why he said that?
It did. It doesn't matter at this point, but that this war should never have happened. A lot of war should never have happened. Stupid things go down, and the wrong people are talking. But Biden was a terrible president in so many ways. He should have never let it happen. And it did there. Millions of people killed. I mean, it's the worst thing since I see everyone saying worst since World War II. By far. There's nothing even close. But we had a very good meeting today. And I think a lot of points were negotiated on behalf of Ukraine and on behalf of the whole NATO situation, where we're dealing very well with a lot of foreign countries that are great at European countries. So look, as far as I'm concerned, there's no deal until there's a deal. But we did make a lot of progress.
Yeah. Within your press conference, you talked about a lot of things that you agreed on. And maybe one big issue you don't agree on. Are you prepared to go public with that?
No, I'd rather not. I guess somebody is going to go public with it. They'll figure it out. But no, I don't want to do that. I want to see if we can get it done. It's not a done deal at all. And Ukraine has to agree. I mean, President Zelensky has to agree. But it's a terrible war where he's losing a lot, and both of them are. And hopefully it can get completed. That would be a great achievement for them. Good job, sir. Forget about me for them, and you'll save 7,000 lives a week. That's a lot.
If you had to have created on a scale of 1 to 10.
So I think the meeting was a 10 in the sense that we got along great. And it's good when, two big powers get along, especially when they're nuclear powers. We're number 1, they're number 2 in the world. And it's a big deal. That's a big deal. You never want to even mention that word, the word nuclear. But we have a tremendous nuclear. I rebuilt it when I was president, first term, and I hated to rebuild it. It was the one thing I hated to rebuild. But we had to. And we have the greatest nuclear force with the greatest military in the world, actually. And they have a big nuclear presence also.
Mr. President, it's a historic day. And I know that Americans, I don't think this transcends political ideology. I think most people understand that the death, the dying, the war, if it stops, that's a great thing for everybody. I wish you all the success in your mission, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
We appreciate all much. Appreciate.